Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Stephen said earlier, this month we celebrate our 50th birthday as the Property Council. It's a momentous milestone and we're taking the time to celebrate it and reflect on our history and that of the proud industry which we represent. Over the last 50 years, the Property Council has grown from humble beginnings to be a truly national organisation that represents the full spectrum of diversity in this industry. Our founders had a vision of an industry taking its rightful place on the national stage, and it's one that we're now fulfilling. This has been a journey that we've taken together in partnership with our members, and it's that partnership that continues to be the secret of our success today. From the very top, we're privileged to be guided by our national board, made up of national and local industry leaders, and so too our division presidents and division councils right around the country. It's what we see in the incredible engagement of members in everything that we do, in our events, in our education courses, in our awards programs, our sponsorship and mentoring programs, our research and our communication activities. And none more so than the 2,579 industry volunteers who give up their time to help shape the future of this industry through their participation in a Property Council committee. It's this engagement that is the true strength of the Property Council. But this engagement is also backed by a passionate and professional staff team. We have an incredibly able executive team leading an incredibly member-focused team right around the country. And it's that fusion between our deep member engagement and our professional staff teams that creates the chemistry of the Property Council. So what's this partnership delivered over the last 12 months for members? Of course, we've had our marquee events. We gather here today, our largest ever property congress. We have our Leaders Summit in Canberra, where we bring industry and political leaders together. Our new Future Direction Summit, we're focusing on the trends swirling around the horizon. And in a couple of months' time, we'll be holding our National Retirement Living Summit, a hugely successful event. Our local events, our mainstay of our offering this year, attracted more than 60,000 attendees. It's these forums and seminars and site visits and breakfasts and briefings that do so much to inform and to connect our industry. Over the past year, we've also run 3 international study tours to New York, to Singapore and to London. Not to mention our acclaimed Property Council Academy courses, our research, which has both helped to make Australian property industry the most transparent and informed in the world. The Property Council's primary role is to represent this industry, and in the past year has been plenty to do. We've had tax challenges right across the country. In South Australia, just this week, our strong land tax campaigns has seen the government announce a 41% reduction in the top land tax rate in that state. In Western Australia, we convinced the government not to proceed with new value capture taxes, which would have disincentivised investment around Metronet stations. In Queensland, we're negotiating an exemption regime to that government's extremely ill-considered extension of foreign investment surcharges. And the ACT, our advocacy has seen the government begin to chip away at some of the lease variation charges. And nationally, we've made the case powerfully that negative gearing and capital gains tax changes were the wrong policy at the wrong time. Our focus on planning continues right around the country. In New South Wales, we're building the case for planning reform with the re-elected government. In Victoria, we're ensuring that the government's red tape review has a laser focus on planning, as well as lobbying hard to ensure that the Melbourne CBD has a sensible planning framework. In Tasmania, the state government there is actually using the Property Council's housing supply and planning reform blueprint as the basis of its engagement with the community on the next round of reforms there. And nationally, we're getting some traction with the idea that the federal government has a role in incentivising reform at the state and territory level. We've been incredibly influential in the rollout of city deals, such that city deals are now being developed for South East Queensland, for Perth and for Melbourne, but it doesn't stop there. The second last bill passed by the last Parliament was one that protected the critical stapled structure regime, which is so important for the AREIT sector. Our retirement living 8-point plan allowed that sector to get on top of its reputational issues, sidestep a Royal Commission and face new advocacy threats from a confident footing. And the list goes on. To achieve these results, we invest. We invest in the policy research, the evidence, the ideas to help us set the agenda and reinforce our arguments. Indeed, this organisation invests $1.4 million just last year in public policy research. This is a defining characteristic of property council advocacy. And we also invest in telling the proud story of our industry, an industry that employs 1.4 million Australians, more than mining and manufacturing combined, an industry that shapes the very future of our cities, and an industry that provides the financial security and the prosperity to households right around the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, 50 years ago, our forebears had a vision of a powerful industry, of an asset class available to all Australians, and of an organisation able to shape the public policy environment that we operate in. To all of our members, I say thank you. Thank you for the last 50 years of partnership in this project. And I stand here and pledge to you today that this organisation will stand with you for the next 50 years and beyond. Thank you very much.